all want to explore.
And they've got lights installed.
Yeah. Oh, now it's.
Kind of the evening kind of view.
Yeah. So.
Okay, friends. When you're ready, if you don't mind to gather over here. Oh, where's everybody?
Hoses, sorry. So is this just later? This must be later construction.
I think they're just trying to hold this up.
And I have my little theory on this. Again, I told you I'm just taking what I'm just the cook, taking ingredients. Very rarely I have my own thoughts. This is one of them. I believe that when Jesus said the gates of Hades shall not rebel against it, I believe he was referred to the Roman amphitheaters. And I'll try to explain why. So what we want to see is where many Christians and Jews and many others were brutally executed to glorify the Roman gods. Okay, so it's a blood-filled, serious place. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Find the lion.
The snake.
Yeah, that's the snake season.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
Then let's gather here if you don't mind. Quite a place, eh?
Yes.
So we are in the heart of amphitheater from the 2nd century AD. So this is not dated to the time of Jesus, but in the time of Jesus, there was an amphitheater like that in every medium-sized city. So we are talking about hundreds of those all over the Roman world. Hundreds of them. Now, first of all, theater will be a half-circle building for theater shows. An amphitheater will be a round structure. An amphitheater, like two theaters together. Theater for theater shows, and amphitheater for executing people. Okay? So you can see it over here to have oval shape. And what you see is actually only the walls that surrounded the arena. The seating area is missing. It used to be up there. Actually, the reason why you can still see it, it's because in the year of 749 AD, there was a big earthquake that destroyed the city of Beit Shean, and it was sealed forever. Very bad for them, very good for us. That's how we can enjoy this incredible archaeological site. Now, we came here because we want to talk a little bit about the amphitheater. Now, as you probably already know, the Romans inherited the Greek culture. So, the cities, the theater, the gymnasium, the aqueduct, and many other facilities were taken from the Greeks. By the way, every city had exactly the same structure, exactly the same facilities, expressing the unity of the empire and also creating the unity of the empire. So the Romans inherited the Greek culture, but they changed it, more brutal style. And if you go to Rome, when you enter the gates of Rome, what you'll see on the top will be Romulus and Remus. According to the Roman mythology, the founders of Rome, the two twin brothers, Romulus and Remus, and you will see them nursed by a she-wolf. The milk of the wolf. So the Roman mythology, that the god of war, Mars, raped the mother of Romulus and Remus, and from this violence act, the two twin brothers were born. The reason why I'm telling you that is because the Romans considered themselves descendants of wolves. That's how they justify their cruelty. And they saw themselves as the descendants of Mars, the god of war. And the amphitheater, that was completely Roman thing. And the Romans knew it. And that was the way they gave entertainment to the people. You think American TV can be bad for you? Yeah. Imagine watch all this live. And I have to tell you that one of my teachers, Professor Jonathan Price from Princeton University and Tel Aviv University, history professor, when he taught us about the games that happens over here at the amphitheater, you know, sometimes Hollywood movies exaggerate. So he said in this case they don't exaggerate enough. Okay? They don't exaggerate enough about the amount of blood that was shed in those incredible slaughterhouses. Okay? Now the way it happened, there was many days like that. They were sponsored by the governors as a service to the people, entertainment. And the day starts early in the morning with a parade, beautiful parade. And on this parade, you take the sand. You know how you say sand in Latin? Arena. The purpose of the sand is to soak the blood. Will be easy to clean between one death to the other, because there were rivers of blood shedding over here. And there was a parade in the morning that tell you what's on the menu. Okay? That's warriors are going to be today. Those prisoners are going to be executed. And in the parade, they were dressed like gods. Why it's important for me to say it? Because very soon we're going to read, yes, from the book of Matthew. Actually, we read it yesterday at Caesarea Philippi. And it says over here, Matthew 16, and the gates of Hades shall not prevail against it. You know, when Titus destroyed Jerusalem and took the Jewish war prisoners, he took them to Caesarea Philippi, to a place like that. And he executed the Jews in a horrible games. And did the same in Beirut, Alexandria, etc., until they arrived to Rome, to the largest slaughterhouse in the mankind history that was built by the loot money the Romans took from the Jewish temple in Jerusalem, which was the Colosseum. So I have a theory over here that maybe what Jesus refers to as the gates of Hades are actually the ground that you are standing on. And the holes over there, are the gates of Hades. And I'll try to explain it. It was a show. First you execute the war prisoners, you give one of them sword, the other one have no sword, brother against brother, a friend against friend, and you make them kill themselves. Later you have those horrible afternoon time, you have the gladiators game. Man against animal, animal against animal. So many animals were extinct. Where are the great predators of Asia? You know, we had lions over here, tigers, all extinct in those horrible places because they were active for centuries. for centuries, and hundreds of them all over the empire. So, when they started the day, they brought a bed, and this bed is called the bed of the goddess of the underworld. The Greeks called her Persephone, the Romans call her Levantines, and they brought the bed of Levantines that will accept the victims, the deads of that day. And when one war prisoner killed the other, they dragged the body. So they have to fight and kill their brothers. If they won't fight, they're going to be executed in horrible ways. So they had an actor, the Romans, dressed like the goddess of merchants, Mercurius. And he's going in, and the whole mob is shouting, and he got the staff made of iron. Again, I apologize for those descriptions, but it's red from heat. They made it red. The iron is glowing red. And his job is to stab the body to make sure that the deal is done. And the victim or the person is not making himself dead. So he stabbed the body with that. Okay? And then they bring another guide dressed like the god of the underworld, Pluto. Okay? And that's the thing. The New Testament was written in Greek. So the Greek will call him Hades. The Romans will call him Pluto. So Hades is coming, dressed like Hades, and with hooks, he's taking the body and drag the body on the sand to the Porta Levantines. Porta, the gate of Levantines. Levantines is the Persephone. You remember Persephone and Hades? She's the girlfriend of the god of the underworld. And that's where they drag the dead people. Now on lunch break, they make some entertainment like you do in your Super Bowl games. You have those lunch break. So what you do in this lunch break? Executing people, okay? And the Christians were mostly executed at the lunch break. They actually, to mock the Christians, they call them gladiators of noon break, of noontime. Because what happened is that the Christians often refused to kill their own brothers. So for the ones that didn't kill their own brothers, they kept the most horrible death, put them on a cart and feed them to the animals, for starving animals. And we found mosaics of that in Pompeii and in Cyrene, and you can see those images over there. So they call them gladiators of noon. So I don't want to talk more about this, but I do believe that for many of the early Christians that were executed in places like that, and for many of the Jews that rebelled against Rome in the year of 70, in the year of 135 AD, where you are standing was the gates of Hades for them. Okay? They call it Porta Levantines, or the gates of Pluto, but if you translate it for, let's say it like this: if you come to a Jew in Jesus' time and you tell him the gate of Hades, that's what comes first to his mind. Okay? And maybe, again, I'm only suggesting over here, maybe that's was what Jesus said, that the gates of Hades shall not prevail against it. Because those pagan Romans, when they looked down over here and saw those Christians, yes, and I think also the Jews, preferred to die and glorify God's name instead of breaking God's command, yes? That's touched something in me. We're gonna walk slowly then.